All right, let's talk about the big leap, the difference between just being a creative and being a creative operator. This is all about the shift that takes your passion and turns it into a real professional business, one with a structure that's just as strong as your art. So let me ask you this. Are you asking the right question about your business? I mean, most of us creatives, we're focused on the day-to-day, right? The projects, the payments, the next gig. But what if the single most important question for your long-term success has nothing to do with today's work at all? A tiny shift in what you ask yourself can change literally everything. And this, right here, is the core of it. This is the whole mindset shift. The artist asks, am I paid? It's a totally fair question, but it's reactive. The operator, on the other hand, thinks proactively. They ask, where is my structure bleeding? It's not just about getting money in. It's about building a system that doesn't lose value in the first place. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to really dig into that operator's mindset. Then we're going to diagnose 4 major leaks in your business. We'll expose a sneaky hidden metadata problem that costs people money. After that, I'm going to give you a step-by-step blueprint to fix it all. And we'll land on the most important rule of all, structure before you scale. First up, let's do this. Let's run a full architectural audit and find the 4 most common leaks that are probably dripping away value from your creative business right now. Okay, leak number 1 is all about identity and infrastructure. This is a super common trap. It's when your artist name, which is your product, is also acting as your parent company. This creates a totally upside-down structure, and it completely blurs the lines between your public brand and your private business operations. So here's the fix, and it's a game changer. Instead of your brand being your company, you create a totally separate legal entity, like an LLC, to act as your asset vault. This entity, this company, holds all your intellectual property. Meanwhile, your artist name gets to be what it's best at, being the public-facing brand. It's just a clean, beautiful separation of art and admin. So, what does this asset vault actually do? Well, it handles all the serious business stuff. It's your publisher. It's your main admin contact. It's the official recipient for all your royalties. It's the body that signs contracts. You get the idea. This separation is the absolute foundation of a professional operation. It protects you legally, and maybe most importantly, it frees you up to just focus on making great stuff. Now for leak number 2. This is a massive blind spot for so many artists, global mechanicals. A lot of us just assume that our local PRO, ASCAP, BMI, is collecting all of our royalties from everywhere, but that is absolutely not true. There is a significant chunk of money from global and mechanical sources that often just gets left on the table. But the key here is knowing when to act. You don't need to panic. If you're getting less than 10,000 US streams a month, the leak is pretty small, honestly. But once you start hitting over 50,000 global streams a month, that's your signal. That's when it's time to bring in a global publishing admin. It's about being strategic, not stressed. Okay, the third leak is less about money and more about leverage. How you communicate signals everything. An email from your personal artist account just projects artist, but an email from a business entity, that projects infrastructure. And that simple change completely shifts the power dynamic in every conversation you have. I mean, think about it. An email that comes from admin@yourcompany.com just carries a different kind of weight, doesn't it? It instantly changes the psychology of a negotiation. You're not just a creative anymore, you're a business. And let me be clear. This is not a cosmetic change. This is strategic positioning, pure and simple. And our final major leak is an ownership registration. This happens when you go to register your songs with your PRO and you just collapse your identity as both the writer and the publisher into one person. You, yourself. It seems so much simpler in the moment, but trust me, it creates a tangled mess for your future. So here's the clean, correct way to structure it. The writer's share, that goes to you, the individual human being. But the publisher's share, that gets directed straight to your LLC. This clean separation makes everything down the line, licensing, investment, even selling your catalog someday, infinitely simpler. Now let's talk about a more subtle, hidden danger. I like to think of this as death by 1,000 cuts to your revenue. It's the metadata microleak. Here's the problem. If your song titles, your songwriter splits, your publisher info, if that stuff isn't 100% identical everywhere, from your distributor to your PRO to Sound Exchange, you create friction. The money doesn't just vanish, but it gets held up, it gets delayed, it gets stuck in a kind of financial limbo. So yeah, metadata discipline is totally unglamorous, but it is the essential plumbing of your entire business.
Okay, we've diagnosed all the problems. Now, let's build the solution. This is your step-by-step strategic blueprint to get it right. First, just a quick status check. Most of you probably have the first 4 items covered. You own your masters, you've got a PRO, you're set up with Sound Exchange and the MLC. That's great. But it's those last 2 items, the ones with the little warnings, that's where the real opportunity is. This isn't about being behind. It's about knowing exactly what your next powerful steps are. So take a look. Where are you on this list? And here is the plan, in the correct strategic order. Notice how it starts with infrastructure, right? Finalize your Google Workspace under the LLC, create those structured professional inboxes. You do all that before you even get to the publishing registration. You have to build the foundation first. Follow these 6 steps, and you'll build an absolute fortress. Finally, let's just take a step back and reframe this entire idea, because this is about way more than just fixing leaks. It's about building pressure. And this, right here, might be the most important idea of all. Leaks only matter when there's pressure in the pipes, when money and opportunities are really flowing. So your job isn't just to plug holes. It's to build a structure that's strong enough to handle the pressure of your future success. You've got to build the structure first. So the foundation is built. A solid structure doesn't limit your creativity. It liberates it. It sets you free to do your best work. So the only question left is, what are you going to build next?